Having done a video on addition of vectors, here I'm going to talk about subtraction of vectors. If you have understood addition of vectors, you will find this very, very simple. Basically, what we have to do is just the opposite of what we do in addition. So again, let us take the example of there's an object, and let us say there are forces acting on this. Let us say there is a force F1 is equal to 5 Newton acting over here, and let us say 2 Newton acting in this direction. And let us this is F2. Right? These are two vectors. And let us say I want to find out the total effect on this force, the net force on this. I have that. What we would do in that case, we would add these two vectors, as we have explained in the video on addition of vectors. In this case, I'm going to explain to you subtraction of vectors. Let us say we want to subtract. Let us say we have a force F1 is equal to 5 Newton, and another force F2 is equal to 3 Newton, and I want to F1 minus F2. Right? Now, in this case, what we will do is that basically we have to do F1 plus minus F2. Let us say this is the direction of F1, and let us say this is the direction of F2. Right? Same, something very similar to the example that we have taken over here. So if this is F1 5 Newton, F2 is equal to 3 Newton, and I want to find out F1 minus F2. In that case, what I would do is I would first draw vector F1, right, to a scale of 1 centimeter is equal to 1 Newton or whatever is convenient. So this represents F1. Now I want to add minus F2. So what I'll do is I'll take a vector which has got the same magnitude as F2 but is in opposite direction. So this would be F2, right? This would be F2. But what I want to do is I want to add minus F2. So this would represent minus F2. Right? The direction is opposite, magnitude is same, right? And this is the starting point, this is the finish point. So this would represent F1 plus minus F2. Or this would represent F1 minus F2. Right? So it's very, very simple. Basically, you have to use the same method as you used in addition. The only thing is change the direction of the second vector, add the negative vector, and you will get A minus B or F1 minus F2. And there's one more method that we can use, which is a direct method, right? In fact, I prefer the second method, which I'm going to talk about. Again, let us say we have F1 and F2. What we do in this case is we start from a common point. So first I'll draw vector F1, as shown over here. And from this common point, I'll draw vector F2. This is F2. Right? Now, having drawn from the common point, I have got these two vectors. Now, if I want to obtain F1 minus F2, right? What I'll do is I'll draw a line starting from F2 ending at F1. So if I draw this will give me F1 minus F2. Again, if I draw F1 and F2, and if I want F2 minus F1, then I'll start from F1 and end at F2. This will give me F2 minus F1. Right? This is the second method. This is the first method. In the first method, we take the negative of the second vector. In the second method, this is a direct shortcut method which we can use to obtain F1 minus F2 or F2 minus F1. I prefer this method because it gives me the option of getting F1 minus F2 or F2 minus F1 depending upon my requirement. The question that we have now is that how do we arrive at this method, or how did we get this method? Basically, it is the method of parallelogram. So I'll explain one. Maybe after having explained the first one, you will be able to understand how F2 minus F1 has come. So basically, what we have drawn is F1, right? And this is F2, right? Now, if I have to use the method of parallelogram, what I will have to do is I'll have to draw minus F2. This is minus F2. From the common point, I have drawn minus F2. And then I complete the parallelogram. Right? I draw a parallel line and I get the diagonal, right? And you can see very clearly over here, this particular line or this particular vector is very, very similar to this, right? So this represents the resultant of F1 minus F2. Right? You can try out the same thing for the second case also, and you will see that f2 minus f1 can be obtained by method of parallelogram of vectors. So basically this method, the second method that I have talked up, comes out from method of parallelogram. As I said, I prefer this method, but I would want you to look at both the methods and understand them well. So whenever you have a situation where you have to subtract vectors, you are able to do that without errors. Thank you.